Hello. Hello and welcome to tonight's matchup between the Immanuel Lutheran Lancers and the Blair Taylor Wildcats JV matchup. C-Team won their first set of the year in the second set in the previous game, ended up losing it 2-1 for the game. Lancers JV looking for their fifth win of the year, their second in a row, won their last one at the JV Dairyland tournament against Eliva Strum, ended up taking 8th in that tournament. Starting first for the Lancers, going to be number 4, Emma Starland. High to the ceiling, comes straight back down, and it'll be set over by number 4, Addison. Nelner sends that one over, lunging save, and set across for Addison again. This one too far, and the Lancers will start off with an early lead, 1-0. Starland was probably one of the best overall players in those 4 matchups at Eliva Strum. Did really well serving, and really well in every other area as well, especially up at the net, as they changed the call to a double hit on the Lancers. And Blair Taylor going to start out with a 1-0 lead. Kazemba sends it up, and Koenig going to send it over to the back corner, too far, 3 feet off the side. Off the broom, straight down, and the Lancers now trail by 2-0. And Smentena will serve again. Off the hands of Miller and off to the Lancer bench. Ace for the Wildcats, and they now lead it by 3-0. To the back, received by Kazemba. Set for Koenig. Saved and set across for Addison again, received by Miller. Starland set across for Hammett, fading away. Good spot. Lunging save, gets it back over. Nellen tries to send it immediately back. Had the right idea, but couldn't quite get it over off the top of the net. As the Wildcats now lead it by 4-0. Serve received by Miller. Starland, good fake, gets it over, saved, and set across for number 21, Bueller. High off the ceiling, ends up falling down onto the Lancer side, and the Wildcats starting out extremely strong. They lead it by 5-0. Serve received by Hammett. Starland sets it up, and Koenig will send it over. Received, sent back up, and over. Too far by number 21, Bueller. And the Lancers now cut it down to 4, get their first point of the night. Score now 5-1 as Seibel enters for Nelner. And number 3, Libero, Micah Miller will head back to serve. Miller coming down from varsity for the injured Quaid. Sends that one about a foot off the sideline. And sends the point and serve right back to the Lancers as number 13, Daffinson, will enter and will serve. Received by Kazemba. Starland sends it up, and Koenig will send it off into the net as the Wildcats now lead it by 6, 7-1. To the back, received by Miller, and off into the, nope, saved by Hammett, and sent over by Starland. Huge save by the Lancers. Bueller tipped at the net, sipped by Starland, and Koenig can't make it in time. Amazing save by Hammett, doesn't turn out in their favor, as the Lancers now forced to call a timeout. They trail by 7 early, 8-1, Wildcats still going strong. Lancers trail it early by 7, 8-1. Number 4, Addison, will continue to serve. Received by Miller. Starlin sets it up, and Koenig will send it over. Good spot. Lunging save, tip back up, and number 12, Meadowbank can't respond in time. Couldn't quite get back into position. As Gergel enters for Koenig. So that was number 12, Waldera. And number 15, Gwyneth Gergel will serve. Nice high spot to the back. Saved and set across for Euler into the net. Lancers get 2 straight for the first time tonight, and they've cut it down to 5, 8-3. Another good spot by Gergel. It'll be an ace right under the hands of number 4, Addison. Lancers now within 4, 8-4. Gergel trying to bring them back from the early 7-0 hole. To the back, and too far either way. Nope. We're going to call an illegal shift on the Wildcats. So the serve too far. Good thing it was on that one, because it'll come back and be the Lancer point. They've now cut it within 3, 8-5. Service by Gergel. Sent up and too far. Good read by Kazembo. Lets it go. And the Lancers are now within 2, 8-6. To the back corner, drops it down nicely. Wildcats decided to let it go, ended up coming back to hurt him as Gergel gets her second ace of her 6-0 run. And brings the Lancers within 1, 8-7. High shot to the back, that one's going to head too far. Gergel does her job, she's brought him within 2, 9-7. There's number 21, Aguilar, will head back to serve. And number 38, Woodard, will enter. Service by Aguilar. Received by Gergel. Starlin sends it back, and Seibel will send it over. Saved and set up for Waldera. Good dump over the net. Miller can't reach it in time as the Wildcats now with a 3-point lead, 10-7. Lofts it up as Aguilar, received by Hammett. Miscommunication by Miller, Seibel, and Starland. And the Wildcats get an ace and bring it back up to 4, 11-7. That one too far. And now the Lancers was an illegal shift as well. First one we've had all year in any level, C-Team, JV, or varsity. Would have ended up being the Lancer point had they not had to do the legal shift. Ended up sailing off the back line by about 5 feet. Lancers seem to have a bit of a lineup issue trying to get that resolved. And we are good to go. Lancers, after bringing within 2, have now fallen within 5, 12-7. Received by Miller. Kazemba sends it back into play, and over the net, sent immediately back, but too far. Kazemba's save pays off as the Lancers bring it back down to 4, 12-8. And number 16, Beck, will re-enter for Aguilar. Service by Hammett. Lunging save. Sent up, and not over the net by Daffinson as the Lancers now bring it down to 3, 12-9. Good spot by Hammett. Diving save, good tip over, saved by Miller. Hammett set for Starlin, tipped off the net, and it'll be an ace off to the backboard. Sorry, a kill off to the backboard as the Lancers have brought it now within 2, 12-10. And it's big run after big run. Lancers trying to get their own big run a little bit farther and tie it up. It'll be an ace for Hammett, lining down to the bleachers off of number 16, Beck. as the Lancers have brought it now within one again, 12-11. Brought it within one last time, couldn't quite complete it, and Wildcats ended up going on a big run after that. See if Hammett can finish it off. That one off into the net, can't be saved off the net, and the Lancers going to tie it up at 12, trying to take a lead halfway through. Hammett for the lead. It's a good spot. Set back for Beck, into the net, and the Lancers get the first lead of the night by 1, 13-12. And they are halfway to a set one victory after what started out to seem like it'd be all Wildcats. Lancers came back, Wildcats went back ahead. Lancers have now tied it up and taken a lead. And Hammett's still going strong as it's set across for Woodard. Saved by Gurgle, and set across for Kazemba. Good tip over, and it'll be a kill for Kazemba. Drops it down nicely between Beck and Woodard. Lancers now lead it by 2, and a timeout by the Wildcats. They've come all the way back from 7 down. Now lead it by 2, 14-12. Back from the timeout. Lancers come all the way back. We're trailing by 7 at one point, 8-1. Now lead it by 2, 14-12. With Hammett still going strong on a 6-0 run. That one sent immediately back by Beck. Received by Miller. And set for Starland. Didn't have a chance on it. That one ended up under the net when she got there. As the Wildcats bring it back within 1, 14-13. And number 9, Daffenson will enter. And she'll head back to serve as well. And sends it right into the net. Lancers get it right back, and their 2-point lead, score now 15-13. As Nelner enters for Miller. And number 5, Joanna Seibel, heads back to serve. Good shot to the back, saved by Beck, and set across for number 3, Sventena, who sends it over and off the hands of Seibel under the net. As the Wildcats cut it back within 1, 15-14, and Miller re-enters for Seibel. And number 22, Chloe, will enter on the Wildcat side. Good spot, diving save by Seibel, can't get up in the air high enough. An ace for the Wildcats. They've tied it up at 15. And she'll serve again, received by Miller. Gurgle sends it up, and Starland will send it over. Set across, and it'll be a double hit on the Wildcats. Regardless, that one ended up into the net as the Lancers hold on to their 1-point lead, 16-15, and Koenig enters for Gurgle. And number 13, Rachel Kazemba, will serve for the first time tonight. To the back, received by Beck. Sent up and over by Sventena. Set for Koenig, good tip over, saved. And set across this time for Addison, fading away. Saved by Nelner. Hammett gets it back up, and Koenig going to send it over. Good save by the Lancers. Can they finish it off with a point? Received by Hammett. Starling, good fake over, saved, out of the ceiling. And it'll be set across for Addison again. Blocked by the net at Koenig. Unfortunately lands onto the Lancer side off the net as the Wildcats tie it back up at 16. And a Guler will enter, and number 16, Beck, will serve. Served by Beck, received by Miller. Set for Nelner, fading away. Lunging save, gets it up. Guler sets it up for number 3, Sventena over. Saved and set for Koenig. Too far to the back line as the Wildcats take their first lead since 13-12. Lead it by 1, 17-16. Serve received by Kazemba. Starlin sends it back into play, and Koenig will tip it over. Saved, and good spot by Sventena, who sets it to the back corner line as the Lancers now trail by 2, 18-16. Big leads for both teams, end up going back and forth for a little bit. Now Wildcats trying to retake a bigger lead. This one received by Kazemba, sent up and over by Koenig to the back. Good spot, saved out of the ceiling by Beck, sent back up, and Aguilar going to send it over. Good saves by both teams. Hamma going to set it across for Koenig. Good spot to the back, saved by Beck out of the ceiling again. This one saved again. Will it be sent over by Aguilar? Yes, it will. Same three people who sent it over off the ceiling again. Set for Nelner. Good spot over the net. Unfortunately, she was in the net. And it was a double hit on the Lancers. Wildcats bring it up to 3, 19-16. Going off the net and off of Miller to the back wall as the Lancers now trail by 4 off the latest ace by Beck and trail 20-16 as the Lancers forced to call a timeout. Getting toward the end, Wildcats lead it by 4. Lancers back from the timeout. Lost their lead of 2. Wildcats retaking their lead of 4, 20-16 as Beck continuing to serve off her latest ace received by Kazemba. Hammett sends it up, and Nelner will just tip it over. Good spot by Nelner. Lunging save to the back, sent back up a little bit, and into the net by Addison. Lancers back within 3, 20-17. As number 4, Emma Starland will head back to serve for the second time tonight. She brought him out of many holes in the JV tournament. See if she can do this one here. And he'll start off with a beautiful ace off the hands of number 3, Sventena, and brings them within 2, 20-18. And Starland will serve again. Good spot. Diving save off the net, and set for Aguilar off the net, saved by Hammett. Starland sends it up, and Koenig will set it over into the net. And the Wildcats holding on to a 3-point lead, 21-18. As number 12, Waldera will enter for Daffinson. And number 3, Sventena will head back to serve. That one into the net. Lancers get it right back. And they are within 2, 21-19. As Seibel enters for Nelner. And number 7, Micah Miller, heads back to serve the swing from varsity. Good spot to the back. Sent up and tipped over, saved by Starland. Hammett set across for Koenig. Good set over, diving save, sends it back, saved by Miller. Starland, good tip over, tipped up in the air, and sent over by Sventena. Starland set for Seibel to the back. Lunging save by Beck. Sventena sets across for Aguilar. Drops that one nicely, gets the kill off the hands of Kazemba to the back wall. As the Wildcats holding on to a 3-point lead, 22-19. Now just 3 points away from a set 1 victory. And number 4, Addison, will head back to serve. Let's just need to get this back and go on a little bit of a run to keep it close toward the end. Received by Seibel. Miller sends it back, but not far enough. As the Wildcats get an ace, and they're now within 2, 23-19. Been a really good game so far. Looks like the Wildcats should be able to pull it out here. As Addison now just 2 points away. High shot to the back, received by Kazemba. Starland sends it back, and Koenig will send it over to the back, and she'll get the kill off the hands of number 16, Beck. Clutch kill by Koenig as the Lancers now within 3 again, 23-20. And number 15, Gerger, will enter for Koenig and will head back to serve. She was one that gave him one of their big leads at the beginning. or brought it back too close off the Wildcat big lead. See what you can do with it here, and sends it awry off her hands into the net. That is not what they needed. As Wildcats now with a chance to end it, and with the serve, number 21, Samantha Aguilar at the line to win it. Aguilar for the win. Higher one to the back, received by Gergel. Hammett sends it up, and Seibel will send it into the net, and that will do it. Wildcats hang on after their initial 8-1 7-point lead and win it by 5, 25-20. Second set coming up in about 3 minutes. Starting off the second set, Wildcats won the first one by 5, 25-20. Start off this one, Hammett sends it into the net as the Lancers take a 1-point deficit early, 1-0. And Smentana will send this one into the net to tie up the game at 1 point apiece. Service by Starland. Received, sent up, and over by Waldera. And miscommunication by Rosendahl and Larson as they now take a 1-point lead, 2-1. Service by Addison, received by Kazemba. Set for Kane to go for the net, saved, and set across for Daffinson over the net. Set across now for Hammett, who sends it straight down into the net as the Wildcats take a 2-point lead, 3-1. And Addison will serve again, trying to extend their 2-point lead. Received by Kazemba. Good tip over by Starlin, saved and sent across for Guler. To the back, right to the hands of Hammett. She'll get the kill and gives the Wildcats a 3-point lead, 4-1. Foot fault on the serve. And the Lancers also bring it back down to 2, 4-2. And number 7, Rachel Zemba, who is now with the libero jersey, as Miller heads over to get ready for varsity, will serve. Starling going to set it up for Rail to the back, and a bit too far, about a foot off the back line. As number 21, Aguilar, will now head back to serve. Serve received by Kazemba. Hammett sends it up, and Starland will just bump it over. Saved and set across for number 38, Taffinson, over the net. And now set up for Koenig, who will set it to the back, saved by Aguilar. Set up for Woodard. Set across for Rail, just tips it over, saved, and Aguilar will send it up and over for Waldera, received by Larson. Starlin sends it across, and Koenig will send it over to the back corner. Saved, but falls into the net off of Woodard, as the Lancers now bring it within 2, 5-3. Service by Koenig. Good spot, received by Beck, and tipped over by Smentana. Starlin sets it across, and Bartles will send it over to the back, saved by Beck. And set up and over by Addison. To the back, sent back up by Kazemba, and Starland will send it back over. Saved by Beck. Sent up for Woodard, who will just bump it over. Saved by Koenig. Starland up, and Rail over to the back, saved in the back line. And set up for number 13, Daffinson, who sends it into the net. Sorry, off the net. And ends up hitting the Lancer line off of Rail. Number 9, Daffinson, will enter, and she will head back to serve, leading by 3, 6-3. Diving save by Kazemba, set for Bartles to the back. Sent up and into the net by number 6, Beeman. As the Lancers now bring it within 2 again, 6-4. And number 9, Hammett, heads back to serve. Into the net. That'll give the Wildcats a serve back and their 3-point lead, 7-4. Service by Kazemba, sends the ball back over, and that ends up tipping off the hands, number 4, Addison, and out of play. As Rosendahl will enter for Kazemba, and number 14, Evelyn Rea, will head back to serve. Currently trailing by 2, 7-5. Service by Rail. Received by Beck in the back. Sent across for Smentana over. Saved by Rosendahl. Hammett set across for Starlin. Just off the top of the net. As the Wildcats extended back to 3, 8-5. Both teams trading points. To the back. Received by Kazemba. Set across for Starland over. Beck sends it up, and Aguilar will send it over to the back, saved by Gurgle. Hammett, good tip off the net, saved by Aguilar. Sent back up for Addison to the back, diving save by Gurgle. Kazemba sends it back up, and Hammett can't quite send it over. Almost an amazing save by Kazemba and Hammett. As the Lancers bring it within 4, 9-5. And Beck will serve again, received by Gurgle. Hammett set for Rosendahl to the back. Saved and sent across for Aguilar. Tipped off the net. Starling can't react in time as the Wildcats now lead by 5, 10-5. And another illegal shift on the Lancers as the Wildcats now lead it by 6, 11-5. Lofts it up, lunging save by Kazemba, tipped off of Hammett and finds its way over. Good effort by the libero Kazemba as Koenig will now enter for Gurgle, as will Rosendahl for Bartles. And number 18, Emma Larson, will head back to serve. Good serve, received across, and set up for Guler, who will bump it over from the back, saved by Kazemba. That finds its way over. Guler tried to send it immediately back, ends up sending it into the net, as the Lancers now bring it within 3, 11-8. No, 4, 11-7. And Larson will serve again, lofts it to the back, received by Beck, and miscommunication by the Wildcats as the Lancers now cut it within 3, 11-8. Service by Larson. Lofts it up, received by Beck. Sent up for Addison over. Saved by Larson. Set across and can't quite be tipped over by a running Rosendahl as the Wildcats extend their lead back to 4, 12-8. Service by Smentana, received by Rosendahl. Set for Rosendahl, tipped off the net, lands on to the Wildcat side. She will get the kill as the Lancers bring it back down to 3, 12-9. And number 4, Emma Starland, will serve. Good spot, received, sent up, and over by Aguilar, received by Kazemba. Starland sets it across, and Koenig will send it over, tipped off the net. Beck sends it back up and over, but too far off the sideline by about a foot. And the Lancers will cut it within 2, 12-10. As Rail enters for Rosendahl. And number 4, Emma Starland, will continue to serve. Sent over, received, and sent up for Guler over the net. Saved by Kazemba. Starland sets it across, and Koenig will send it over, blocked with the net, but lands onto the Wildcat side off Aguilar, as the Lancers are now within 1, 12-11. And number 4, Starland will continue to serve, this time for the tie. Received and set across for Rail over the net. Sends it back, up, and over, but too far off the sideline is Aguilar's hit. As the Lancers now tied up at 12, and the Wildcats forced to call a timeout. Wildcats once again been in control. Lancers bring it back even as we near halfway point of the second set. Back from the timeout. Lancers have brought it back even now with a chance to take the lead. It'll be number 4, Starland, trying to give the Lancers that. Set up for Guler to the back line. Tipped by Kazemba and off to the stage. As the Wildcats hold on to a 1-point lead, 13-12. They're halfway to a set 2 victory and a game win. Number 4, Addison, will head back to serve. Just clears net. Diving save by Kazemba, gets it over and drops it down nicely off the hands of Beck. And that is why she has a libero jersey. Was diving around before she even got it. Eventually was given to her, and she's not let it go. Only to a different player when Miller is in. When she goes over to varsity, it's Kazemba who will take over as she sends this serve 2 feet off the back line and gives the Wildcats again a 1-point lead. As Woodard will enter, and number 21, Aguilar, will serve into the net. And Lancers once again with a chance to take a lead as Bartles enters for Larson. And number 3, Kenzie Koenig, heads back to serve. And the Lancers' better servers, big chance of going on a nice run here. There's a good run to the back. There'll be an ace off the hands of Beck. And the Lancers now lead it by 1, 15-14. Koenig will serve it again, trying to extend her lead fresh off her first ace of this serving bout. Another nice spot. Saved by Addison high to the ceiling. Sent up and just over. Received by Starland. Set across for Rail. Tipped and almost caught by number 13, Daffinson. Ends up being a lift. Either way, it drops onto the floor as the Lancers now lead it by 2, 16-14. And Koenig will continue to serve. Another nice one there. Side of the corner. Sent up and just over by Beck. Received by Rail. Hammett sets it across for Rail, who will tip it to the back. Lunging save, and Beck can't quite send it up. Ends up catching it. Another lift. Either way, drops down as the Lancers now lead it by 3, 17-14. Koenig currently on a 3-0 run with an ace. Trying to take the second set and give him a chance to win the game in the third. That one high to the ceiling. Hits. Saved and sent into the net by Daffinson. Wildcats might be needing to call another timeout as Lancers currently on a 4-0 run, 18-14. Koenig still going strong. Another nice one to the back. Saved by Beck. Good dump over. Saved by Hammett. Ray will try a dump of her own. Tipped up in the air and into the net by Daffinson. Lancers pulling this one out. Looks like they might be able to finish it off and send us to a winner-take-all third set. They currently lead it by 5 off Koenig's 5-0 run. And she is still going strong as this one just sent over by Smentena. Kill for Rail off the hands of number 13, Daffinson. And now a forced call timeout for the Wildcats. They lead it by 6, 20-14. Koenig serving, bringing them up on top. They're just 5 points away from taking the second set. Lancers brought it back tied, and now with a 6-point lead off Kenzie's 6-0 run. Still going strong as this one will be set up for Woodard over the net. Saved by Kazemba. Starland sets it up, and Rail and Bartles collide. Can't quite get it over as the Wildcats bring it back down to 5, 20-15. They're within 5 of the Lancers. Lancers within 5 of a set 2 victory and forcing this third set. Serve received and can't quite be tipped over by a running Starland as the Lancers now lead by 4, 20-16. Lofts it up, received by Kazemba. Starland sets it across and Rail will send it over. Tip, diving save, gets it back up and can't be saved off the net as the Lancers retake a 5-point lead, 21-16. And number 9, Hammett, will head back to serve. Good spot, received, and just tipped over, saved by Kazemba. Hammett sends it up, and Starland will set it over to the back. Set up for Woodard, tips it over, saved by Kazemba. Hammett sets it across for Bartles. Tipped up in the air, no Wildcat can make it past in time as the Lancers are now within 3, 22-16. Hammett just needs 3 more. Nice spot there, diving save. Just tipped over off the net, saved by Starland. Hammett will set it over to the back, saved by Beck. Set across for Addison, fading away, saved by Kazemba. Hammett set across for Rail back, saved by Beck, and set for Woodard, who will set it to the back, saved by Kazemba. Hammett sets it up for Starland, saved by Beck. Finds his way over, saved by Bartles. Kazemba sends it up, and Rail will just set it over. Be a double hit on her, though. Just barely can't get 2 hands in there, as the Wildcats bring it back within 5, 22-16. Serve to the back, received by Starling. Set up for Starling. Good set to the back, saved. And set across for Addison. Diving attempt by Hammett. Gets it up, but not in the area of any Lancer, as they now are within 4, 22-18. Lancers trying to finish off the Wildcats. They've struggled to finish out games in the past. Need to finish this one out to force a winner-take-all 3rd set. Now as this one received by Starland, and set across for Bartles. Can't quite find the floor, but ends up heading over to the Lancer side, which is 2 feet off the sideline, which will end up being the Lancer point. They are now just 2 points away from taking the 2nd set, forcing a 3rd set, currently up by 5, 23-18. Rail serving, needs just 2 more. Lunging save out of the ceiling. Set up and over by Smentena, too far. No, they're going to say it dropped on the sideline. So point will go to the Wildcats, who are now within 4, 23-19, as Kazemba re-enters. And number 16, Beck, will head back to serve. Just off the net, lunging save by Gurgle, gets it back over. Saved and set back, too far, not being sent over. And Gurgle save going to pay off. Lancers now just 1 point away. They lead it by 5, 24-19, as Koenig and Larson enter. And number 18, Emma Larson, will serve for the set 2 victory. Lancer serving for the win. Good spot, received. Sent up and over by Aguilar. Saved by Larson off the ceiling. Hammett can't get there in time. Kazemba was going to let that go. Larson decided to go for it. Would have been really close on that back line, as the Wildcats will get one last chance to bring it back even. They need 4 straight to keep the game going, as number 12, Waldera, will enter, and number 3, Smentana, will serve. Gonna need 4 straight. Gets that one over, received by Starland, and a reach over by the Wildcats. Ends it out, gives the Lancers the last point that they need. Wildcats won the first one by 5, 25-20. Lancers win this one by 5 as well, 25-20. We'll head to a 3rd and final set. First to 25 will take the crown of a game win. We are back and ready for the third set. Lancers lost the first one by 5, 25-20. Won the second one by 5 as well, 25-20. Currently tied 1 set apiece as we head to the final one for a winner-take-all. C team also had a winner-take-all third set and ended up losing that one. Lancers trying not to repeat that and get another win on the night. Looking for 2 in a row. Won their last one against Oliva Strum in the final game of the tournament on Saturday. Quick lineup check for the Lancers. Xemba will enter for Rail. And we are good to go. Serving first for the Wildcats, it'll be number 3, Smantana, which works out for the Lancers as she sent it straight into the net, and they'll lead it early, 1-0. And number 4, Emma Starland, will head back to serve. To the back, receives high to the ceiling, sent up and over by Waldera. Received by Hammett, set across for Koenig, who sent it to the back, tipped and too far. Regardless, it'll be Wildcats into the net, as the Lancers now lead it by 2-0. Lancers end up pulling it together at the end and figuring it out in both of these last sets. See if they can do that the whole game and make quick work of the Wildcats in this final one. As Koenig's block goes a little bit too far sideways, ends up landing onto the Lancers side, as the Wildcats bring it back within 1, 2-1. And number 4, Addison, will head back to serve. To the back, received by Larson. Koenig sends it back up, and Hammond will send it over. And too far, foot off the sideline. Wildcats tie it up at 2. The back, received by Larson. Starland sets it up, and Hammond will send it over. Saved and set across for Guler over the net. Saved by Koenig. Starland sets it across. Koenig will send it over. Good spot. Saved by Beck. And set up for Guler over the net. Saved by Larson. Starland across for Koenig. Ends up missing it. Turns out to be a good thing as she just gets it over. Misses that one off the net. Rosendahl will send it over and drops it down nicely. Few unfortunate occurrences for the Lancers. Ends up working out in their favor as they drop it down off of Rosendahl's bump over. And take a 1-point lead, 3-2, as Kazemba heads back to serve. Kazemba has been on top of her game tonight in the serving as well. That one just sent over by Beck, sent immediately back by Rail, and ends up being sent over by Waldera on the Wildcat side. Hammett set across for Koenig. Misses that one on her mistimed jump, sends it straight down and under the net as the Wildcats tie it back up at 3. And number 21, Aguilar, will serve. Illegal shift on the Lancers again, third time tonight, as the Wildcats now lead it by 1 again, 4-3. Lofts that one up, just gets off the top of the net and under the hands of Rail, as the Wildcats get the ace and extend their lead to 2, 5-3. Serve received by Larson off the ceiling. Xemba sends it up, and Koenig can't quite send it over off the net, as the Wildcats now extend their lead to 3, 6-3. And Aguilar will continue to serve. High spot to the back, received by Rail off the ceiling. Starland sends it up, and Koenig will send it over. Diving save by Aguilar, can't get there in time. Koenig gets the kill, Lancers get the point there within 2, 4-6. Now as Bartle's under for Larson. And number 3, Kenzie Koenig, will head back to serve. Had that big run at the end, which gave them their big lead, which never went away toward the end of last set. See what she can do with it here, trying to bring it back from a 2-point deficit. Received by Starland. Set for Rail. Tipped, saved. Waldera sends it up and over. Received by Kazemba, that was definitely out. Rail sets it up for Starland, who will send it over. Saved, sent immediately back, and Kazemba can't make it to that one in time, as the Wildcats take a 3-point lead, 7-4. And Gurgle going to enter for Koenig. And Daffinson will enter for Waldera, and we'll head back to serve. Serve received by Kazemba. Starling, good tip over, drops it down nicely onto the line as the Lancers now within 2, 7-5. Good read by Starling, just tips it over, drops it down perfectly between two Wildcat players and right on the line. Lancers trying to make a comeback here. Good spot by Hammett. Rail ends up sending it into the nets. Couldn't quite get to it fast enough to send it immediately back. Ended up being too low when she made it there as the varsity start to emerge from the locker room, ready to start their game. Serve to the back, received by Kazemba. Hammett sets it up for Bartles. Good tip over, saved and sent back. And over by Addison. Set for Bartles again, this time farther back. Sent up, sent back over, and gets it over the net. Huge save by the Wildcats. Can they pull it off with a point as Hammett tips it over? Lending save by Beck. Just gets it over the net, lending save by Kazemba. Hammett going to set it across for Starland, who will just set it to the back, saved by Beck. Set across for Addison, tipped, saved by Kazemba. Hammett set for Starland. Good spot to the back, Beck to the back. Sends it back up, can Beck get it over? Yes, she can, and she drops it down. 3 huge saves by the Wildcats, and they pull it out at the end as they extend their lead to 4, 9-5. As Seibel enters for Bartles. And the Wildcats will continue to serve. Good spot, received by Gurgle. Hammett sets it up, and Starland will send it over. And it'll be a kill off the hands of number 22, Chloe, as the Lancers bring it within 3, 6-9. Service by Rail. To the back, received by Beck. Set for Addison over the net. Saved by Seibel, who will send it over. Tipped immediately back. That'll be a lift off the hands of number 38, Woodard, as the Lancers are now within 2, 9-7. C-team game started late, which means the JV game started late. Both games have been rather quick. Still not enough to bring us back within the preferred time limit, as varsity should be just about ready to start, and we're not even halfway done with the JV's final set. As Hammett sets it back for Starland to the back, saved and set up for Addison. Lunging save by Rail, straight off the lights, and sent straight back down as the Wildcats hold on to a 3-point lead, 10-7. Serve into the top of the net for Beck. Lancers get it right back. They're within 2, 10-8. As Koenig and Larson enter for Seibel. Nope. Yep, Seibel and Gurgle. And number 18, Larson, will head back to serve. Sent back and over the net by Smentana. Hammett set across for Koenig. Good spot. Saved by Beck. And can't be sent back into play as the Lancers are now within 1, 10-9. Received. Tipped immediately back by Rosendahl. Saved and sent over. Saved by Hammett. Starland set across for Koenig. Good set to the back. Saved by Beck. And tipped over, blocked at the net by Koenig. Tipped back over. Koenig sends immediately back off the net. Sent immediately back by Aguilar. Rosendahl tried to send immediately back on the run. Ends up running into the net as the Wildcats extend their lead back to 2, 11-9. Serve to the back, received by Kazemba. Hammett sets it up, and Koenig going to send it over. Good spot. Off the ceiling, can't be sent back, and Koenig going to get the kill as the Lancers now within 1, 11-10. Served by Starland. Off the shoulder, and set for Addison over the net, saved by Larson. Starland sends it across. Koenig sends it over, blocked at the net. And it'll be 4 hits off the Lancers. Didn't end up getting blocked. Ends up just going straight into the net. Either way, it'll be Wildcat point as they extend their lead back to 2, 12-10. And Addison will serve off the hands of number 9, Hammett, and off to the wall. Lancers now trail by 3, 13-10, and Addison will serve again, fresh off her ace. Serve received by Larson. Semba sends it back up, and Rosendahl will send it over. Saved, set off to the ceiling, and Beck gonna somehow get it over. Saved, and Starland will tip it over. Diving save by Beck, gets it back up, and Guler gonna send it over. Saved by Larson. Starland sends it across, and Koenig gonna send it over to the back. Too far off the back line by about 3 inches. As the Wildcats trying to pull away, they lead it by 14. They lead by 4, 14-10. Serve 3 feet off the sideline. Lancers within 3, 14-11. As Rail will enter for Rosendahl. And number 7, Rachel Kasemba, will head back to serve. To the back, received by Addison. Sent up and into the net by Guler as the Lancers now within 2, 14-12. Lunging save by Beck and drops it down under the net as Kasemba gets the ace, and Lancers are now within 1, 14-13. Kasemba bringing it back, hoping for 1 or 2 more to bring it even. Good spot to the back, saved by Beck. Sent up and over by Addison. Lending save by Larson, gets it back over. Saved out of the ceiling, off the ceiling, and into the net. Lancers have tied it up at 14. Now looking for a lead. Kasemba still serving. And a timeout by the Wildcats. Lancers currently on a 4-0 run. They've tied it up at 14. Rachel Kasemba serving for the lead when we return. Here in the third set, each one is set by 5, 25-20. Kasemba brought them back from the deficit. Now looking to take a lead, and she will. Ace off the hands of number 13, Chloe, as the Lancers now lead it by 1, 15-14. Kasemba now looking to extend her lead, currently on a 5-0 run. Good spot there. It'll be another ace off the nets. Kasemba has 3 in her bout so far, 2 in a row. They lead it by 2, 16-14, and she's pulling them away. And looking at a win here pretty soon. Now into the back. Close, but about half a foot off the back line as the Wildcats bring it back within 1, 16-15. As Woodard enters, and Guler will serve. Lofts that one up, received by Larson. Starlin sends it back, and Hammett sends it off to the ceiling as the Wildcats tie it up at 16. And Guler serving with a chance to take a lead. Lofts it up, and off the top of the net. Can't quite get it over as the Lancers maintain a 1-point lead, 17-16. And Bartles will enter and will serve. Nope. Gergel going to enter for Koenig as well, and Gergel will head back to serve as Larson and Koenig head to the bench. Service by Gergel trying to extend their 1-point lead, currently 17-16. Good spot to the back, and just a few inches off that sideline. Can't quite curve it back in time as the Lancers and Wildcats tied at 17 as number 9, Daffinson will enter and will serve. Lofts it up, received by Koenig, who sends it back over. Sent immediately back again, this time received by Gergel. Set for Bartles to the back, and too far, 2 feet off the sideline. That's the Wildcats starting to come back of their own. They now lead up by 1, 18-17, as Seibel enters for Bartles. And Daffinson will serve again. Lancers got to get this one back to keep it tied. Serve to the back, received by Kazemba. Starlin set for Seibel. Good spot to the back, and once again, just a little bit too far by 2 inches. Can't quite paint the back line as the Lancers now forced to call a timeout. Their lead is now gone, now a 2-point deficit, 19-17. Wildcats currently lead up by 2, 19-17. Good receive by Hammett. Good tip over by Starlin. Saved and set across for Woodard over the net. Tip saved by Girdle. Too far for Kazemba to get to in time as the Wildcats now lead it by 3, 20-17. They're just 5 points away from a set 3 victory and a game win. To the back, received by Hammett. Kazemba sends it up, and Starlin going to send it over. Diving save off the net. Can't be saved by Woodard under the net as the Lancers bring it within 2, 20-18. And serving for the Lancers is going to be number 9, Evelyn Hammett. Scoreboard is off. It should be 20-18. And there we go. And Hammett will serve. Good spot, received, and set for Woodard. Good tip over, and miscommunication by Hammett and Gergel. Now it's 21-18. Wildcats lead it by 3. And number 22, Chloe, will enter and will serve. To the back, received by Kazemba. Hammett sets it up for Seibel, just off the net, saved. Tipped it back over by Starland, but ends up being 4 hits off the Lancers as they now trail by 4, 22-18. To the back, received by Kazemba. Hammett sets it up, and Starling going to set it over to the back. Saved, set up, and over by Addison, received by Kazemba. Hammett sends it across. Seibel going to send it over. Diving save, gets it up. Beck sends it over. Lunging save by Gergel. Hammett just going to have to set it over. Saved by Beck. And set for Addison. Blocked the net by Rail, but goes straight down as the Wildcats now lead it by 5, 23-18. Looks like they might be able to pull this one out in 3. They're just 2 points away from a set 3 victory and a game win. Received by Kazemba. Hammett sets it up, and Starling going to send it over to the back. Once again, just a few inches off as the Wildcats 1 point away from sending us to the varsity game. To the back, received by Kazemba. Set for Seibel, just going to bump it over, saved by Beck. Set across for Beck, back row, saved by Gergel. Hammett sets it up for Seibel. Good spot, diving save, sent immediately back, saved by Kazemba. Hammett set across for Starlin, good set over. Diving save, Beck sends it back up, and Addison going to send it over too far to the back. And the Lancers will get one last chance, trailing by 5, 24-19. Rosendahl will enter for Kazemba, and number 14, Evelyn Ware, will serve. Going to need 5 straight to keep the game going. Good spot to start, received by Addison. And a double hit on the Wildcats. Lancers within 4, 24-20. Lost the first set 25-20, 1 point away from doing so here. Still needs 4 more as we're able to continue to serve. To the back. And just a few inches off the sideline, and that'll do it. Lancers lose set 1 and 3 by 5 apiece, 25-20, and win the second one by 5, 25-20 as well. We're turning it off and turning it right back on for the band performance. In about 30 minutes, varsity will start. A bit late, it'll end around 9:30. Hope to see you there. If not, have a good night.